Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Good evening. Shout out to YouTube. It's been a minute, man. I'm busy all day. I'm dealing with a bunch of nonsense on TikTok and some other stuff. But you guys know the deal. I'm on Twitter all day long, and I see these posts from Pro Football Focus, PFF, if you didn't know. They have a lot of validity. Apparently, people believe they're telling you the truth. Apparently, people think these guys know sports. They got PFF ratings, Rico. They got guys working for them that know football. And every list I've seen from them for the last month now has just been utter shit. Just trash. Terrible. Okay? So I just want people to understand that this isn't even healthy conversation. This happens every single offseason. They will just circle around the same names on the same big teams, and you won't ever learn anything about football. And then you'll go about your life going, oh, yeah, those are the best players. And they're not the best players. They're not even close to the best players in any way, shape, or form. They just keep saying the same names over and over and over and hoping you'll believe it. NFL teams don't listen. You better check the draft. NFL teams don't give a shit what these guys have to say. And neither do I. So here's their post that started this whole conversation, and I'm going to do this video now. Shout out to TikTok and everybody else out there. If you're watching me right now, I got to pull this up. I'm going to pull up the chat. If you're watching me right now and you got a question, comment, you want to join in the conversation, all you need to do is go over to YouTube and drop the question in the chat, and I will get to it. I promise. But right now we're going to talk. I'm going to go through about 5 or 10 names, and then we're going to take your questions, comments, and concerns. Shout out to TikTok. So, looking at this list here, it says, which sophomore running back will have the best season? Now, that's a great question to ask, and you can see the list there. They have 5 names of 5 running backs who's going to have the greatest sophomore season. Now, I will admit that 5 of those pictures look really enticing, but I started to wonder, like, do people not know? And I read the comments. I read the engagement comments underneath these types of videos. Look, I'll take you guys through it, okay? We'll just click on it like this and we'll go look. 133 comments. One guy says C.J. Baxter. Well, it's obvious they put a picture of Baxter here. We'll get back to that. Easily Taylor. The emphasis here is that Taylor will be great. By the way, sophomore running back means you were either a freshman last year or a redshirt freshman, okay? And we keep looking, and you're going to see kind of all the same names. We don't deserve such a good group of young backs like this. That's awesome. Shout out to Gabe. Gabe's actually an MVP. Sawchuck will win the Doak Walker Award. Book it. I don't know what's going on there. We got LSU fans telling me, look at their running back room. We lost all our running backs. We got one left. Don't count them out. We got the whole Notre Dame running back room thinking they're all professional. By the way, the guy better than all of your backs? Yeah, barely drafted, bro. Everybody slow down, okay? So you got these guys, and they're showing me this snow game. We're going to talk about Abu Sama in the snow. He's absolute garbage. I've watched the tape. Abu Sama is not a good running back. We'll talk about it. Darius Taylor. When I read this, and I see that it's just the same names over and over and over, and nobody knows anybody. No one knows anything. It's crazy. It's just a bunch of popular names, the same names that they gave on the list. Like, what about that question mark? So I thought to myself, I'm going to educate the world on who some of the best sophomore running backs are next year. Look, I got to go this low 2 hours ago to see Mekhi Hughes. Do you guys understand Mekhi Hughes had the most rushing yards of any freshman? Mekhi Hughes had 1,300 rushing yards. 1,300. And he's got the most incredible circumstance going into next season. It's nuts, man. It's embarrassing the way they do this, and I'll never understand it. So, enough of that. Let's go point out the blatant missing information. All right, so if we go to my profile, I made a post. Now, full disclosure, I did have one omission on this list. I did have one error. I forgot Mark Fletcher. Now, that's on me. I'm going off memory sometimes. I don't have any charts sorted by their year. I literally am sitting here just hand jamming names and ideas. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm different from the rest of you. All these names are at the forefront of my mind. Like, I can just sit here and rattle off the top 25 running backs from that class last year in production like that. Like, that's what I'm built for. This is what I do for a living. This is not a hobby. It's not me hanging out talking sports. Oh, man, who's that fat guy in his living room? Bro, I'm not fat. I work out every day. Shout out to me. Ain't had to change my clothes. When you're fat, you got to buy a new pair of pants, bro. I'm letting you know now. When you're fat, you got rolls. When you're fat, you ain't seen that undercarriage in a while. I can't relate, bro. I'm just letting you know. Some of y'all got swimming pools in your belly buttons. Don't mess with me. Some of y'all got lint under your nipples. I don't want to talk to you anymore. So ain't nobody fat. Let's get focused. Who are the best running backs in the sophomore class for next season? Number one, a lot of people are saying it. Jaheim White is my number one guy. Jaheim White, that little dude down there in the bottom left corner on the graphic below me. Jaheim White, West Virginia, arguably the best running back out of the entire class. This is a 5'7" guy. When you watch him on film, he runs through arm tackles, but he's got vision like Emmitt Smith, man. And for a guy like this, remember, all these true freshmen or redshirt freshmen were not in the starting role to start the season. The vast majority of these guys had to earn their carries as the season went on. So they didn't start. Jaheim White did not. He missed like 3 or 4 games. He played in September, missed a couple games in October, and then really put it on at the end of the season. But remember, we're talking about a team in West Virginia that had another running back, a converted tight end who's their running back. Donaldson's getting all their carries in the red zone. That's why this young man only had 4 touchdowns. He's a change of pace back. But you're a kid from York, PA, 5'7", almost 200 pounds, a little bowling ball, and you're just bad, dude. 200 yards on Cincinnati? Whew. It was mean. Next week, Baylor don't want to see him. This is a good kid. Now, he came on strong towards the end of the season and didn't get much work at the beginning. So this is all projection. But to see a guy go for almost 900 yards, 850, and he missed several games. Easily a 1,000-yard rusher coming up. Theoretically. This is a beast right here. This is a problem. And he reminds me of Emmett, wears 22, the whole 9. Love this little dude. You're going to hear me say Emmitt Smith a lot for any dude with vision. Shout out to Jaheim White. He's number 1 on my list. Number 2 on the list, Darius Taylor. It's hard to argue against Darius Taylor. I made a video on him on TikTok last September, and I said, hey, that guy's him. It had to be, it was September 11th. It was 9/11. On 9/11, I made a video, and I said, it's over. This is an NFL running back. That whole running back room is cooked. This true freshman just showed up and took over the room. Now, he's from Detroit, Michigan. This is a kid, got no carries in the first game when they beat Nebraska, but they said, we're going to give you some work against EMU. And he gave EMU the business, came back, rushed for some. Now, he did get injured against Iowa, got banged up. Didn't see him anymore for a while. Came back in the bowl game and reminded everybody, I'm still him. I'm a 200-yard rusher in a game. This is a real problem, right? This is a beast of a guy. NFL caliber running back. Be excited about that young man, okay? Shout out to him. Shout out to Darius Taylor. Number 3 on my list, C.J. Baxter. Now, this is by default. This is out of respect for the Texas running back room. But if you ask me, C.J. Baxter is very underwhelming on tape. Very underwhelming. I'm hoping he can get there. He got his fair share of carries. I'm just impressed that a freshman, he's built the right way. No diddy. He's built the right way, and I'm just impressed that a freshman got in the rotation and started playing really well. Okay, so this is a guy who got more carries as the end of the season went on due to injuries and whatnot, but he didn't really perform like a bell cow back, like the guy you should be leaning upon. They had some star receivers they were throwing to. They have a superstar quarterback. They're doing other things. But C.J. Baxter is probably, if we had to go have tryouts right now, he's probably the 3rd best running back. And I say that because there are some running backs who aren't in starting lineups that are really, really good. I know there are running backs on the bench at Alabama and Georgia, and you're all convinced they're NFL guys. They're not. We know this because the starters are barely getting drafted, if anything. When the starter's a 7th-round draft pick, that means everybody behind him is not an NFL caliber running back. Let it settle in for some of you fans out there. 2 running backs were the starters at Georgia last year. Neither one got drafted. Slow down before you think your whole running back room's NFL caliber. So LSU fans, Notre Dame fans, you guys just need a reality check. Your starters aren't NFL caliber, but you imagine the whole room is. It's just not, that's not the way it works. There are one-offs. There are guys at other running back rooms that are amazing. Like dudes that in the group of 5 or in the Big 12 or just individual running backs at other places better than anything you got on your team. They hit. They found him. So C.J. Baxter, while being good, he wasn't the starter, and nothing he does on tape really moves me. So I'm leaving him there because he is probably going to be good. He's going to develop like most Texas running backs do. He's going to continue to get developed by the coaching staff and all that stuff. Keep lifting weights, and as long as you're the primary back at Texas, I'd have to imagine you're better than the primary back at Iowa State, right? So I like C.J. Baxter right where he's at. Number 3 on my list. But if you look, number 4, Mekhi Hughes. The fact he's not in the graphic below is insulting. Mekhi Hughes rushed for 1,378 yards, the most of any freshman running back. This is a guy who went out there and from the jump just started putting work on people. And when I saw 92 yards against Ole Miss, when you're on a Tulane team and every player at Tulane is not as good as every single player at Ole Miss, like when we do a tryout, line up, you don't measure up, and you still go out and put up 92 yards with a 4 yards a carry average. I love what Mekhi Hughes does. The reason why he's so high for me is the coaching staff. If you go to Tulane and you look at their coaching staff, John Summerall coming over from Troy, bringing his offensive coordinator, Joe Craddock, with him, and then bringing his running backs coach, Brock Hayes. Now, Brock Hayes is not like this superstar running backs coach, but he was the running backs coach at Troy for the last 2 years. Before that, he was an offensive line coach, a defensive line coach. He's had a lot going on in his life. And shout out to Tulane. They don't even update the website. You click on this dude's name, they don't tell you nothing. But I know Brock Hayes was a very valued coach, one of the top 35 under 35, okay? One of the top 35 coaches under the age of 35. The point I'm trying to make is Mekhi Hughes is about to inherit an offense that just had the nation's leading rusher, the second leading rusher in Kamani Vidal. Like that Troy's running back room, Kamani Vidal just got drafted. If you go and take that coach, that offensive coordinator, that head coach, and you apply it at Tulane, you're going to get something special. So I see Mekhi Hughes not falling off at all. I see him getting bigger, stronger, faster. I really like it. Shout out to Tulane. You have a great running back. That's a move right there. So I like that move. Next running back on the list is Gavin Sawchuk. I didn't even pull up his stats or show you guys anything. Here's what I'll say. I think Gavin Sawchuk had 7 touchdowns. This is a young man who showed up to Oklahoma, and he was so good. Dude started hitting the transfer portal, right? Majors, gone. There's like 2 other running backs, just gone. Just hit the portal, said, we got to get the hell out of here because we got a freshman out here, and Gavin Sawchuk that just took everybody's playing time. It's a good running back. It's a beast of a running back, and he's going to punch it in. They trust him around the goal line. What's his name? Tawee Walker had to leave, and Tawee Walker's him. Walker showed up, and everybody's like, he got to Wisconsin, and he's about to take over that whole Wisconsin running back room. And he had to leave because of this guy. That's a great running back. Shout out to number 5. If you're 5th on my list, I really like you. I respect you immensely. So that's a big one right there for me. Number 6, Roderick Robinson. I told everybody for 2 years now, I told everybody last year, there's only one Robinson I give a damn about at Georgia. And it's not some dude that they're making a bunch of highlight videos on. Some little muscle-bound freak who's injury-prone, who's never done anything to live up to the hype. It's this guy from Lincoln, San Diego. Okay? Roderick Robinson, the second, for me, he separated himself from that running back room. Now, they might have went and signed some Etienne dude, and the world's going to tell you no, I don't care, man. Robinson is him. He's number 6 on the list. I know he only rushed for 196 yards. I don't care. I think if he was in your running back room, he's better than other players on your team. I like that kid a lot. Next running back on the list, Justice Haynes. Justice Haynes coming out of high school. Yes, I initially saw him at Blessed Trinity. So if you don't know Blessed Trinity, they've had Division I running backs for years upon years. At one point, there was 3 running backs at Georgia Tech, and all 3 were from Blessed Trinity. They backed each other up in high school. So Blessed Trinity, he then transferred to Buford for his final year, and then he showed up at Alabama. And when you get to Alabama, you're competing with Jam Miller. You're competing with other running backs, Jason McClellan and stuff like that. You're competing with NFL guys. And he just kind of came into his own towards the end of the year. Yes, only 168 yards rushing, but I know the talent. I've seen it. I'm aware of how good Justice Haynes is. I think when all is said and done, he will be up there as one of the better running backs on this list. That's why I have him so high. I really respect his game. Shout out to him. Shout out to Bama. You got a running back. Speaking of having a running back, Miami found out real quick. They found this kid, Mark Fletcher Jr., big, 6'2", 205, finishing his runs, running great, and I did not see this coming. You guys want to know the truth? I made a video last year talking about A.J. Allen. A.J. Allen was transferring from Nebraska, and I was under the impression A.J. Allen was transferring from Nebraska, going to Miami, and he was going to be the second back. And he wasn't. And he's good. When I turn on the tape, A.J. Allen is so good. Doesn't matter. There was an alpha male up in here, and it's Mark Fletcher Jr. And now he's got the whole running back room to himself. Yes, A.J. Allen's backing him up. What am I saying? You bring in, what's his name from Oregon State? Damian Martinez. Damian Martinez and Mark Fletcher Jr. are a 1-2 punch like a battering ram. Just huge guys you can't tackle. I'm really high on Miami as a whole. I hope people know this. Maybe you don't know this. You're not an MVP. Talk to the MVPs about my breakdown on Miami and how many wins I think they're going to get next year and how well I think they're going to do in the ACC. I think Cam Ward is the X factor. I think Miami's going to be great. Everybody should be on notice. Like Florida State, you don't scare me. Clemson, you don't scare me. I really like Miami. I'm letting you know now. And Mark Fletcher, they hit it out the park with that dude right there. Stud. Let me say something about Ruben Owens. 385 yards at Texas A&M, former 5-star running back. When I turn on the tape, I see a running back with juice. I see a running back that makes people miss. He has that extra gear to get to the next level. He has that escapability kind of like Jalen Wright did with Tennessee. Just was in the last draft. Like, I feel like Ruben Owens just needs better blocking. Just needs better play design. Needs better development. Something. But that's a good player. You're not going to find a much better running back. If you're looking at running backs, you're like, nah, man, that guy's got the skills. That's why he's been in the immediate rotation from the jump. There's something about Ruben Owens that's right. He's good. It's just the production's not there. I like his talent. The production's not there. Speaking of production, number 10, Kanye Roberts. I'm going to tell you right now, nobody has Kanye Roberts as high as I do. I have Kanye Roberts at 10 because I know how good he is. He sent Nate Noel packing, bro. Nate Noel's been the running back at App State for a while now. He jumped in the portal, went to Missouri. That's fine. But if he stayed at App State, he wasn't going to have that job all by himself. It was Kanye, bro. Kanye Roberts, coming out of high school. Look, Kanye Roberts, 5'11", 200-pound freshman, but he only had 3 100-yard games. 3 100-yard games. That's pretty good as a freshman, if you ask me. 109 yards each game. He just stops at 109. Almost 700 yards rushing. See those carries? See that average? 5.7, 7 touchdowns. This is going to be a problem at App State. This is a guy right here. I want you to know, in high school, his last year of high school, he was number 1 in the country, 3,500 yards rushing. That comes at 64 touchdowns. As a senior, 64 touchdowns one season, bro. This guy was doing everything. That's 219 yards a game. I really like the tape, averaging 12.3 yards a carry. He just looks good when he does it. This guy slipped through the cracks. Somebody missed. They didn't believe in him because he played 2A football. They didn't believe in him because he played small school football, and the other teams didn't want to get on him. But when I look at a guy who rushed for 7,300 yards in high school, 113 touchdowns total, 104 rushing. Like, all his stats are so gaudy. They're so amazing. I don't know how you miss on a guy like this. So he gets out there and his freshman year, and he starts tearing it up at App State. 3 100-yard games as a freshman. Look at that. 7 yards a carry, 9 yards a carry. First times he ever touched the ball. Give this kid the rock mark. Well, we got Nate Noel. No, dude. Give Kanye Roberts the ball. This is a star freshman people are missing. Complete stud. Love everything about Kanye Roberts. Had to put him in my top 10. I don't care who you are. That's a great running back. Teams missed. App State didn't. Power 4 teams missed. App State didn't. I'm letting you know now. Number 11, Jeremiah Love. I didn't grab any of the Notre Dame running backs and put them up there so I can show you who they are, but I'm going to tell you this. Notre Dame has 3 running backs, Love, Payne, and Price. Love, Payne, and Price. All right, sounds like a damn Tank album. Right? I'm telling you, for me, Jeremiah Love is the best one out of the group. He's probably going to step up and be the guy. They're all very good. Are they NFL caliber? Probably not. Like they think they are, but I don't know. One of them might make it. I don't know. Okay? So it's cool. Shout out to Love. He's the best one at Notre Dame, so I put him up here. Jalen Buckley's here at 12. Cool. Look, he rushed for 1,000 yards at Western Michigan, but when you turn on the tape, he's a little underwhelming. Jalen Buckley, redshirt freshman, kind of pisses me off, man, because we bet on MAC football. We bet on MAC football. Shout out to the MVPs. And every time we want to bet Jalen Buckley's over yards, he's not getting it. And then times we don't want to bet on it, he gets it. It's annoying. So I got beef with him. Me and him, there's going to be some furniture moving if I see him. I'm just letting you know. Number 13, Abu Sama. He's on the graphic below. Abu Sama's on the graphic below. And a bunch of Iowa State running backs transferred out of school. I think Eli Sanders left, Norton left, things like that. Look, man, this is a young man, Abu Sama, rushed for like 300 yards in the snow. And it's all anybody wants to talk about. I think it was K-State. He rushed for 300 yards in the snow. And this is the way it works. When you watch games in the snow or in the rain, the running back sometimes gets an insane amount of yards because no one else can get traction and stop him. It's apparent he was the only one with the right cleats on, and he was running all over the field, and no one could stop him. But let me tell you something. If you go look at Abu Sama, and we saw that game, so then we saw him in the bowl game next. You know what he did in the bowl game against Memphis? Jack and shit. Okay, 12 carries, 4 yards. That's what he did. 12 carries, 4 yards. So you guys might be saying, this is one of the best running backs in the country. But if you take away that 276-yard performance, we're talking about a guy who rushed for less than 400 yards. He doesn't even deserve to be mentioned. He's not very good. And 12 carries for 4 yards. He averaged 0.3 yards a carry. You can fall forward. I'm 6 feet tall. If I fall forward, I get 2 yards. My body's 2 yards long. I could just fall at the line of scrimmage. I could just do a straight belly flop. I could do a plank, the plank challenge, and just fall forward. I'm down where my knee is. I'm down where the ball is. I'm getting a yard. This dude got 0.3 yards a carry, and he had a 7-yard long. And Memphis defense sucked. It wasn't like they were holding anybody down. This guy's not very good, guys. I'm telling you, a freak accident of a game in the snow had him running everywhere and no one could stop him. And he fumbled in that game. But I just don't see it. I don't see his mention. He shouldn't be up there at all. He shouldn't be mentioned at all among the top running backs. As a matter of fact, I wanted to put him at the very bottom, 25. But I knew people would flip out. So I put him here. But I really think he's 25. He should be honorable mention. He's not a very good running back. Abu Sama. He's not ready. Caden Fagan. Speaking of not ready. Caden Fagan, coming out of high school, played a small school ball in Illinois, I think. Or Illinois or Indiana. One of the two. I can check here. It's Illinois. Okay. Played small school ball in Illinois. This is a guy who wasn't the starter. Reggie Love III was the starter, and he just transferred to Purdue. But Reggie Love was the starter, and Reggie Love goes down with an injury, and we got to bring in this freshman. And he looks like who's the guy? Travis Henry? Not Travis Henry. Derrick Henry. Travis Henry. Whew. He looks like the father of 30 kids. No, Derrick Henry is what he looks like. Bro, this guy is 6'3", 250. And runs hard. He's a problem. 6'3", 250, and he's a mother flipping problem. You can't tackle him. I don't know who plans to tackle him. That dude, 6'3", 250, Illinois got themselves a running back. That's a great freshman running back. Shout out to Jam Miller at Alabama. Good player. Another decent player, but probably going to get passed on the depth chart. We'll find out, okay? Jambriz Dubar. I just call him DeBar. DeBar out of Boise State. So if you don't know Boise State's running back room, they had 2 1,000-yard rushers. George Halani, has been a multiple 1,000-yard rusher for a while. I'm not saying last year. I'm saying in their careers, right? George Holani has been a 1,000-yard rusher. I think he did it back in like 2019. So you had Holani and Genty, and everybody knows Ashton Genty, one of the best running backs in America. All right, so you have these two guys, and they're both senior Latin experience. You're not going to get any reps. And out of nowhere, this Texas kid, this freshman named Dubar, starts getting carries. So I got to go watch his tape. Let me show you guys just a little bit of his tape. Just a little bit of his tape. This is a kid who runs a 10.6 100-meter. A running back running 10.6, bro. That's a corner. That's a wide receiver speed. He doesn't have the best agility, but you ain't messing with this dude. Check him out. I'm going to show you this clip right here. Check out this clip. I can't go full screen because it's hard to explain about with my pixels and whatnot. I'd have to set up my OBS different. But let me show you this real quick. I'm going to hit play on this. It's the next play because he's the running back over here. He's jogging. Watch this. Look at this acceleration. It just looks like a video game. It looks weird. It's impossible. He's just so smooth and fast. I don't know what you do with this guy. Well, Boise does. Boise knows. You just hand him the rock and let him outrun everyone. He's a 10.6 100 meters. You got no chance of catching this guy. Edges, anybody, you blink, it's over. You can't catch him. He's going to outrun all the angles. His speed pops on tape. He just bounds faster than everybody else. He does not have the greatest cuts. Stupid fast. Great speed. Love everything about this kid. Boise State, he will be the second string running back this year. But just look at him eat up angles because he's so fast. Look at that. Just go. It's incredible. It's incredible the way he runs. Boom. Love it, love it, love it. Doesn't run behind his pads well. Doesn't make one cut and go well. But he can do this. He can just run. And you got zero chance of stopping him. He's gone. He's running too fast. He's like a track athlete. So, like the kid a lot. Shout out to him. Moving him up the chart because I feel like he's going to have a bigger year this year with Holani gone. So 335, 5 yards a carry. I think he's going somewhere in the 500, 600, 700 range. So I'm excited for that one, okay? Jadarian Price, another Notre Dame running back. Very good. Give a shout out to Price. Before I go on with the list, I'm going to go take the questions and comments, and then we'll get back to the list. So let me get to the chat. I'll stop at Price because I got to pay the price. Let's go to chat. Shout out to TikTok if you're watching right now. Move over to YouTube. Drop your question in. I got you. All right. Evan Kramer says, enjoying these player ranking videos for the upcoming season. Going to be great at the end of the season, seeing your rankings be more accurate than whatever crap PFF or ESPN pushes. Yeah, man, it's just, they just name all the best players. They just name all the, not best players. They just name all the most popular players. It's crazy. They don't know anything. And you know what? Vegas is the same way. And this is why we dominate group of 5 games in gambling. That's why I don't miss when I tell you a team's going to win or lose in the group of 5. Because they don't even know these teams. They don't even know these players I'm talking about. They never watched a single game. It's nuts. Appreciate you, Evan Kramer. Appreciate you. Rosecrans Bori TV says, my guy Rico tapping in from Compton, California. I'm hoping you're saying Compton, California. You're not like us. You're not like us, right? They not like us. I can't listen to that shit, bro. I'm with Drake all day. I appreciate your content. You come from the best perspective. Thank you so much. I come from a tired perspective tonight, man. I was busy all day. Willie Bobo says I'm here, y'all. What up, man? I'm here too. One of the best football channels on YouTube, Best Logic and Facts. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Jawarn Howell is the best one that you listed. Shout out to Glenn. I'm going to get to Jawarn Howell. He's my number 25 running back. And yes, you think he's the best one I listed. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Shout out to Moo Better. Moo Better said Darius Taylor. I think Emmett Johnson puts up good numbers as a sophomore for Nebraska. Look at Justin Eckert. That's not a bad suggestion, especially with some of the departures at running back. And I believe Irvin Johnson got injured, right? So that works out. Jeremiah Cobb, have enough film to deserve a mention? Probably not, but I feel you, Mike. Thank you so much. I feel you all diddy. Emmett Johnson will be a good one for Nebraska. There we go. Got to have Justice Haynes. Got to. Yep, he's there. Good to see you, Rico. Thanks for the content as always. You got it, Armin. Thank you for the support. Keep calling out the fugazis. You guys don't know. Fugazis. Maybe the kids don't know what that means. Fugazis means the fakes, the frauds, the phonies, the fugazis. If you got cubic zirconia on right now, the CZs, it's fugazi. If you got on them fake earrings, those are fugazi. Maybe a fake chain. You walk around with a fake face on. I'm talking about fake smiles when people come in the room. That's fugazi, bro. Let me tell you guys something. I took my girl on a romantic dinner tonight. We went to a place called Hardee's. If you're on the West Coast, it's Carl's Jr. But we were out here, we went to Hardee's. I took my girl to Hardee's. I'm like, yo, I got you, babe. Whatever you want to eat, it's on you, right? You're going to love it. Go get you a splurge. I got you. We're doing Hardee's. But first, I got to wash my hands, babe. I got to go use the restroom and wash my hands. We've been out looking at homes. We've been touching doorknobs and door handles. We've been walking around neighborhoods and shit. I've been shaking hands with every real estate agent in the world. Let's go eat, but I got to wash my hands first. So I walk into the latrine. I walk in to the bathroom. I don't call it a bathroom because there's no bath in there, okay? So I walk into this latrine in Harlem, Georgia. Small-ass, country-ass town with a bunch of trailers, right? I walk into this latrine, and there's an employee at the only urinal, and he's taking a piss. So I go step into the toilet area, the stall, and I'm going to do my business. And I hear that employee leave the bathroom without washing his hands. Yo, what'd we just say? This man just left the bathroom without washing his hands. I said, no, this can't be real. So I finish my business. I go wash my hands. I come out to the lobby where everybody's in line, and I look at my girl, and I said, that dude right there didn't wash his hands. I need to see what he's doing. So he's ordering food. It's really weird. He's on break. He's ordering food, and he didn't wash his hands. Now, he's not in the back preparing food because I'm about to cause a scene, right? He's touching my food. It's on. It doesn't have a sign that says all employees must wash hands. So I go to the register, I order my food, and then I say, can I speak to a manager? And the lady says, oh, I am one of the managers. I said, could you come here for a second, ma'am? So we step from behind the counter, and I said, what was his name, babe? Riley. I said, his name was Riley. I overheard somebody say, Riley's food is ready. I said, ma'am, does Riley still work here? Is he still on the clock? She says, yes, he's just on his lunch break. I said, well, ma'am, I want you to know, Riley didn't wash his hands when he went and used the bathroom. I watched him urinating, and from there he walked directly out. She goes, well, if he wants to eat with those dirty hands, he can do that. But before he steps back here, he's got to wash his hands. Guys, the moral of the story is, don't you dare be dirty around me, bro. I'm going to call out all the fugazis. I'm going to call out everybody. I don't let shit slide, bro. I'm not cool with it. I don't just watch stuff and just be like, oh, no, man, I am the biggest snitch on the planet. I put that dude on blast with his boss. That dude don't wash his hands. He's about to eat some, I don't know how he seasoned them fries, but it's real. That's true. That's true. Let's go back to the chat. Good to see me calling out the Fugazi. Shout out to Armin, by the way. That is an MVP for the whole year. By the way, we had a new MVP sign up for the whole year. Shout out to you, all you guys going to Patreon, signing up for the whole year. You guys make my life possible, and you get access to all the best videos. You guys know the deal. I work overtime for MVPs. Rico, would you like to see a JV-style college football for highly rated freshmen and sophomores so we don't have to wait there, senior and junior? No, not at all, MJ. Not at all. Those players... who says they're any good? Highly rated? Who the fuck rated them? Whoever rated them and they can't see the field got the rating wrong. I don't need to see them. They're highly rated. That doesn't mean shit. Get to school. The rating don't matter anymore, and be better than the dudes on your team. Go to practice and outperform the people you're competing with. No, I don't want to see you if you're not one of the best 22. Step off, bro. There's already 134 teams. If you're not good enough to get on the field, I don't want to see you. No, thank you. All except Bama, you can't say that theirs don't get drafted. Booby Miles, I can say they don't get drafted. One running back gets drafted. How many get recruited every year? How many get recruited every year? They sign 3 to 4 running backs in a recruiting class, only one of them makes it. I can say they don't get drafted. Do I have to tell you Trey Sanders, an Alabama running back, not getting drafted? Do I have to tell you how many running backs from Alabama had to leave the school because they couldn't see the field and they're not getting drafted? Alabama running backs don't get drafted. The hell's wrong with you? That is outrageous. You guys just, what do? Sit around watching ESPN all day? Coach Hayes is great. Word, yes he is. Shout out to Kramer. Might be late, but still drafted. Rico, evening. Good evening, Rico. What are your thoughts on Kendrick Rescano? Kendrick Rescano is a good running back. Shout out to Ole Miss. Did he hit the transfer portal? He did, right? I'm assuming he's going to an Arizona school with you asking me, David in Arizona. David in Arizona always asks me some obscure question about Arizona players in schools. So, yeah, I think he's a good player. He pops on tape. Good kid. Just, a lot of competition at Ole Miss. It's normal. Thoughts on Cameron Seldon? None whatsoever, Arvin. No real thoughts. Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue is not a freshman last year. He was a sophomore last year. So he'll be a redshirt junior or he's just not. He doesn't qualify. One too many years in college. Hey, Rico, what are your thoughts on the Wisconsin freshman trio of backs, Dupree, Itka, and Jones? Riley, are you an MVP? If you're not an MVP, I just want to tell you I did a really deep dive on Wisconsin just yesterday. So that's why I'm asking. What I'll tell you is Jones is NFL caliber running back. These are true freshman running backs, by the way, guys, that just signed with Wisconsin, if I can be clear. Dupree was probably the 50th best running back in the country. They got it wrong. Dupree is a dynamic athlete, a superstar. I watched him on tape. All I thought was Reggie Bush. All I thought is a guy that makes everybody miss. But I still think Jones is the class of that entire recruiting class. I think Jones is special, right? And playing at a high level in high school prepared him for what he's about to do. I think Jones is about to pass Akers on the depth chart. I think Jones will be third in the rotation. And as fast as Chez gets injured or, things go wrong, I think Jones is the guy. I think he's going to pass a lot of people. Dupree's a hell of a player. Itika is probably going to transfer and not be in the rotation. IMO, in my opinion. So I'm really impressed with those first two, though. Jones and Dupree look special to me. They look like some of the most special running backs to sign with Wisconsin in a long time. And I'm talking about overall very dominant, just incredible athletes, Riley. They look very, very good. Just those two, though, that stick out to me the most. Talked about them at length just yesterday. I think I made a 47-minute long video. Once again, if you're an MVP, you see the deep dives on every single team. I made literally like a 47-minute long video just talking about Wisconsin, every single position group, and I went in depth about their running back room. So thanks for the question. Rico, Buffton Prime on Twitter is saying that Colorado had the best running backs. Dallin Hayden and Rashad Amos is the best running back room in the country if you watch the tape. Where does Colorado running back rank? Colorado's running back room is probably top 50, 5-0. I don't see what those guys are just homers, man. They're just fans. They're just saying anything for clicks. They're trying to grow their fan base. So they'll be a fan book, there'll be a fan page. They'll be buffed in Prime. They'll be the Colorado fan page and get all the fans excited. I'm not interested in that. I'm here to talk about 134 teams in America. They have a fifth-string running back from Ohio State who can't pass block. They got a MAC running back who can't pass block, and all they're going to be asked to do is pass block. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't see the appeal. I watched the tape. I was not impressed with either running back. Go turn on the tape. I mean, those running backs could never start at some of these other schools. Like those running backs would be third string at Boise State. Real talk. Both of them. Third string at Boise State. Group of 5 school. Yeah. Romantic date. Yeah, Nick, that's what we do. Blue is not a sophomore. There you go. That's straight trifling, serving people, not keeping them hands clean. No, he wasn't working, Coach. He wasn't working, Coach Stokes. He was pissing on his hands, and then he went to go eat. Thoughts on Cedric Alexander from Vandy? Shout out to you, BNT Vlogs. I have Cedric Alexander down here in the honorable mention. He was initially like 27, 28, and I didn't want to do a top 30. I kept it at top 25. So good production, 300, less than 400 yards rushing though. Nothing to be mad about. Just a good player. He's just kind of outside the top 25. So he's not bad. Thanks for the question. Thanks for pointing out a good Vandy running back. Not an MVP, but thanks for the thoughts, Rico. You got it, Riley. Rico, off topic, but what do you think about Elijah Badger being a lean to Florida? I think Florida's finally paying for some players, finally finding some talented players. They hit on an Arizona State wide receiver before, so hopefully they hit on another one. Congratulations to them. Elijah Badger going to Florida, does that really help his draft stock? I don't know. More power to him. Yo, Riley, you work at Hardee's? Nah. Chill. That's not him. Vandy also has a freshman coming in. Yes, they do. Who could push for the starting spot. I'm aware of Vandy's depth chart. I'm aware of Vandy's recruiting prowess. I'm aware of all their new additions. Shout out to Eli Stowers. They reached out to me in Twitter DMs weeks ago, if not months ago, about him going to, everybody's reporting. Man, I wish I knew where it was. Everybody's reporting Eli Stowers is going to Vandy. They're reporting it today. I've known for absolutely forever. Is it here? No. Let's keep going. It's somewhere, man. I found out months ago, and I already knew, but I wasn't going to make a video on it because I was going to leave it alone. I don't remember. It was his girlfriend writing to me because he doesn't get on social media all that often, Eli Stowers. So his girlfriend was writing to me to let me know that he was headed to Vandy. I knew already, talked about it, and now everybody's talking about it. I don't know where it's at. I don't remember. That's on me. I should remember that kind of stuff. That's on me. Nonetheless, shout out to Vanderbilt. I think they're gonna exceed expectations. Just so you know. Thoughts on Tyson versus Paul? Don't watch that shit. That's what, sleeper running back room, ASU. Who's sleeping on him? Are you kidding me? ASU got a killer running back room. There's nothing sleeping on it at all. Yeah, I know he committed today. I've known for months. Yeah, them Colorado fans mad. You telling the truth. I see Dalvin Truth talking about your girl, and you live in their heads rent free. Keep up the good work. Talking about my girl. Oh goodness. I think all those dudes, all those Colorado fans, real talk, if we can just keep it 100 right here, we'll just keep it a stack. I think they get nervous around pussy, man. I think their heart rate goes up. I think they don't know what to do. Oh my God, I'm almost close. I think I'm gonna touch it. That kind of deal. I think that's those dudes. I don't think they're as cool as they think they are. Them dudes get nervous and talk around women and shit. They'll walk up to a girl, say, hey. She'll be like, hey, how you doing? He'll be like, you finding you two? You two? They don't know what to say in response, man. They just mess up in life, bro. Those guys don't move me. I'm good. Thoughts on Vandy's offseason and upcoming season? Sorry, off topic. Keep up the good work. So I don't talk about upcoming season stuff. That's for MVPs. I will not give you a prediction of any sort. That's for MVPs. Go to Patreon, become an MVP. You'll know what I think of Vandy. I have a video on them. Their offseason's been great. Shout out to them. They went and got a bunch of players. I don't know why the University of Colorado is not running the ball, set to play action. I know the running backs coach is Flea. He played for the Giants and was the head coach at Howard U. He's great. There you go, coach. It doesn't matter. That's not important, man. More power to them. I don't think running the ball is going to help them win games. They don't have good running backs. How about them apples? Now, back to the list. Let's get back to the list. I stopped at Price. So let's talk about number 18. Dawson Pendergrass from Baylor. Here's what I'm going to say about Dawson Pendergrass. He is him. If you want to know, he's a raw-ass white boy. Like, he's a great white running back. That dude, Dawson Pendergrass, had no business getting into the rotation at Baylor. And by the end of the year, he was looking really good, okay? This is a young man coming out of high school, had, I want to say, 3,100 yards rushing. 3,100 yard rushing on the ground, 479 passing, 109 receiving. This guy shows up to Baylor, and Baylor already has Richard Reeves. Baylor already has a transfer, Dominic Richardson, coming in from Oklahoma State. They don't even need this guy. And he takes over the room by the end of the year. 6'2", 220, wasn't the leading rusher, but he was getting his carries at the end of the year. He was getting his yards. That's a beast of a running back. Love him. Just raw, dude, and making dudes question whether or not they can play at Baylor. Now, Baylor, they were afraid they were going to lose some of their running backs, and they didn't, which is crazy because they thought they were going to lose Richard Reeves, and they didn't. I thought they should have. But it's a good running back. Great freshman season. Really impressed me. I like Dawson Pendergrass. And when all the Baylor coaches get fired this year, I expect some of these players to hit the portal. Just so you know. Jaden Jet Thomas out of Westlake. I made many videos about him last season. I told you guys this was going to be a breakout running back. I saw him in track. I knew he was going to be good. Went out and had 5 touchdowns in a game, 503 yards rushing, 12 touchdowns for UNLV. He was their second and third running back. He wasn't even the starter. Just a good player, and he's going to be around for a while. It's impressive to put up those kind of numbers at UNLV with their senior Latin running back room. They had a transfer from Pitt. They had a transfer from William and Mary. I think they had transfers from schools where their running back coaches came from, where their wide receivers and offensive coordinator coaches came from. They had to overcome. At least this young man had to overcome some of the favoritism in the running back room, and he did. And I got news for you. There's another kid named Jones, true freshman, hasn't played yet. Darian Jones, I think his name is. Jones looks great on tape. Looks like a hidden gem. He's from Kansas. Whew. That's a guy who still hasn't played. So I'm really excited for UNLV's running back room, the youth of it. We'll see what happens. Eli Gilman, speaking of youth, Eli Gilman, Montana. This is your Jerry Rice Award winner. If you don't know, Jerry Rice Award goes to, it doesn't say it in here, but the Jerry Rice Award goes to the #1 freshman player of the year in the FCS. That's where Jerry Rice used to play at Mississippi Valley State. Here we have Eli Gilman at Montana, shows up and plays out of his mind. One of the leading rushers in the FCS. Definitely the leading freshman rusher. He's built like an NFL running back, 6 foot, 200-something pounds. Family already reached out to me, gave me love because I gave him shine early. I knew he was going to be a beast immediately. So I did a video on him on TikTok. His parents reached out. They've all been very grateful. So I rock with them. They rock with me. I'm rocking with them. They rock with me. I'm putting Eli Gilman on the list. I don't care that he plays in the FCS. He's better than these FBS guys. You better believe it. Shout out to Eli Gilman. Beast of a running back. Love him. A.J. Allen, I already talked about him. A Nebraska transfer. A kid with some real speed. I like him a lot, but he ended up being the third. Now, he'll be the third running back at Miami this year again. It's just one of those things, man. They're going to always keep getting better players. Payne, out of all the Notre Dame guys that all came in at the same time, remember, you sign 3 running backs every year. They don't all go pro. It happens. Payne's out here. He's trying his best, but he's struggling. Next guy, Dylan Edwards, hit the transfer portal going to K-State. Had 321 yards rushing. Speed demon, little guy. But to me, Dylan Edwards is, more popular Jaden Thomas. Jaden Thomas is just another speed guy, just the same. But they're kind of the same, but one guy gets all the hype, and one guy gets actual production on games, right? One guy scored 12 touchdowns. Nobody talks about it. The other guy, well, he played at Colorado and got all his yards in his first game. Cool. MJ Flowers. MJ Flowers will be an FBS running back someday. MJ Flowers, Eastern Illinois. Shout out to Tony Romo. Eastern Illinois, the runner-up for the Jerry Rice Award. The runner-up for the Jerry Rice Award, one of the best FCS running backs out there. And then Jawarin Howell, the star running back at South Carolina State, an HBCU, did his best, did his thing, and then he hit the portal, and he's going to South Carolina. And it's pretty cool that South Carolina is paying attention to the FCS schools. They signed, Mario. What am I saying? I was going to say Mario Edwards. Mario Anderson Jr. out of Newberry 2 years ago or last offseason, and he just left to go to Memphis after rushing for over 700 yards there. So they needed to find other running backs. They got a North Texas running back who I'm not all that sold on, but you get this kid Howell, and I like him, man. I hope they give him the rock. I hope they give him a chance to play. I like Howell a lot. Obviously, they have Rocket Raheem Sanders to be the bell cow, but Howell's still very young. Obviously, it was his freshman year. So these are my top 25 running backs. I do have honorable mentions. I want to say something about these guys. Torrance Burgess going to Texas State. He will be like the third running back at Texas State, the third string running back. Yeah, there's really good ones. Deion Hankins is ahead of him, and obviously they have Ishmael Mahdi, the best 1,300-yard rusher there is. He's a speed demon. But it's just still a kid worth mentioning is what I should say. Cameron Edwards and Damian Taylor and Cedric Alexander. All these guys, I want to say they're still sophomores if they redshirted their freshman year. They don't have mandated as redshirts, but they didn't play in enough games to not be redshirted. So they should apply for the redshirt and be fine. Hassan Wilson, love that kid. Late bloomer, played his high school ball in South Carolina, complete stud, at Charlotte right now, and not getting a lot of love. Not getting a lot of carries, but I think this is a good player. Damari Austin, a Georgia high school legend, one of those kids who could really play in Georgia, and he's at Auburn right now. He's their big back. We'll see what happens there. Parker Jenkins plays at Houston. And Parker Jenkins is a good running back. Freshman, got in the rotation, almost 400 yards rushing, or maybe more than 400 yards rushing. So he's very productive. I just have him down here. Don't take his ranking down here as like I don't think very highly of him. If I'm mentioning guys, I think highly of them. Okay? That's what I'm going to tell you. If I'm mentioning players, think very highly of them, and he's one of those guys I like, Parker Jenkins. Griffin Woodall, shout out to him, the Albany running back, FCS again. He rushed for like 800 yards, 700 yards. Griffin Woodall is, I think, number 28 on tape, and he just looks like – have you guys ever seen a good youth running back? Like if you watch youth football and you see a white guy that's one of these 13-year-old kids just out there running, and he just looks better than everybody else, kind of because he developed physically before everyone else. He looks pretty good. Looks like he's got the juice. Yeah, that's what this kid looks like. He looks like McCaffrey. He looks pretty cool. I like him. I'll cheer for him. He could date my daughter. That kind of thing. That was a joke. Everybody relax. But those are my top 25 sophomore running backs for next season. All right, I'm going to run to the chat one last time before we end the show. Thanks for being here. I like to just do these episodes real quick, show you top 25, and then keep it moving. I appreciate you guys. I'll take your questions, though, if they're on topic. Rico, why do people get so excited for schedule release days as if the opponents aren't released to the public months prior? So a couple of things with that. Schedule release days might matter to season ticket holders, to people who are getting ready to go to the games. I know it matters to gamblers because they want to bet on the home teams and they think it gives you a 3-point advantage. There's a bunch of stuff like that. But for me, I give zero shits about schedule release days. I really do. I don't care. I'm too busy studying the coaching staffs, the players, the depth charts, the matchups every week. Like, I've got whole charts, bro. I got spreadsheets galore that I work on all day. When you guys don't see me, or if you ever see me on live, I'm quiet and just punching in data. Like, that's when you know I'm working overtime trying to get it right, and I'm getting ready for next season. And all the work I'm putting in this offseason is going to pay off and make sure we get above 61% on our against the spread. That's the goal. 61% is the spread. Against the spread is the goal. Last season we finished at 59.5. I want to be 61. Let's go. That's a significant amount of money for the MVPs. Hope you guys are MVPs. What are your thoughts on KU's Jalen Daniels? He's an amazing quarterback. Love everything about him. Probably the best complete player in the Big 12. I just enjoy that, man. He's great. I hope he stays injury-free. Stokes says, for show. Bro, thank you for saying that about Dylan Edwards. His production fell off the cliff after week 1. Yeah, you can blame a lot of things. Rico talking about Cody Paul. Shout out to Cody Paul, one of the all-time great youth films. I wasn't talking about Cody Paul, though, but I guess you could say Cody Paul. Shout out to Los Alamitos. Hey, Rico, it's always a lesson when you were lost. My bad, bruh. You know, if you lost anything, it's almost as bad as saying all I do is loose. You loose when you talk, Rico. You a looser. These guys can't spell, bruh. They don't know English. And what's sad about it is it's the only language they can use to communicate with other Homo sapiens. Like, you only know one language you can communicate with other human beings. Only one. And you can't even do that shit right. Like, you didn't even bother to learn how to articulate properly in your only language. That's nuts. That's mind-boggling to some of us who are bilingual. You either do that, speaking Ebonics, speaking body language. You don't know sign language. You acting shit out? I'm hungry. And you're doing this? Like, I don't know. You can barely talk, bro. It's disgusting. It's a lost. I'm at a lost. Colorado should be ashamed if they gave that kid any credits. If he's got transcripts, if his transcripts have transferable credits where he earned any type of grade, I'm at a complete lost for words. Your friends don't know.